hot, not too cold, about mid to high 70s here in the tri-state area. Larry Ridley, SNY TV, NBC Sports, Madden NFL, NBA 2K League, live here on Esports Extra, the only live call-in sports show talking traditional sports and esports here on Twitch, twitch.tv/compete forever, on Mixer, mixer.com/compete forever, also on YouTube, youtube.com/compete forever, and also on Facebook, facebook.com/gaming/compete forever. We'll take your phone calls live here, 877-853-5247. Meeting ID is esports extra. That is 377-678-9872. Hit that pound button twice to join the show. All right, guys, we have a packed show for you today here on a beautiful Sunday. We're talking about that NBA players call that was on Friday. We have one of the participants that was on that call. She goes by the name of Two Time, and she's, of course, a permanent co-host on the show. We're talking about Rockets point guard or shooting guard or just guard, Austin Rivers, his response to it, who I think a lot of other guys would have a response to that as well. We'll talk about that. NBA stars, bubble insurance, whatever that means, but I understand where they're going with this. Pete Carroll, I think he has some regrets, folks. 2017 in Durham, we've gone back and forth with this. He's saying he could have signed Colin Kaepernick. I wonder why, because he can still play. That's why.
I watched the interview. We'll talk about it.
Yes, I'm ready.
We'll also get into Jerry Jeudy, man, as a former receiver. I mean, this was this is I know it's a Sunday, but man, it was like receiver porn to me. Just the footwork. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to be silly here, but I am actually. The footwork is just phenomenal looking at it. I mean, you could see why he was a first round pick. He's a bad dude with the footwork. Take it from me as a guy that played receiver. That was special. I don't think I could do that in my prime. And I wasn't nowhere near as good as Jerry Jeudy. I'll just leave it at that. Brandon Bell would join us live. Here's a guy that's got some pretty good footwork. Former Penn State Nittany Lion captain, former Cincinnati Bengals linebacker, trying to get back in the NFL. We're going to talk to him. Played for Bill O'Brien at Penn State. Okay. Bill O'Brien, offensive coordinator at the Patriots when I was there in Boston. Head coach of the Texans right now, the Houston Texans. He is going to kneel. We'll get into that. I think that's really cool and a big topic. Baker Mayfield claps back at someone on Instagram. He's also absolutely going to kneel. We'll talk about Major League Baseball. Good gracious. They had like 2 or 3 proposals yesterday. I told you guys, this is the week. This is what we like to call nut cutting time. How about that? So we'll see what's going to happen this week with Major League Baseball. We'll have Nets GC gaming crew, their rookie star, Chalk. He's going to be on the show live. Hat tip to that dude right there. OG. His coach. I guess when the coach says, hey, man, you got to come on the show, I guess you have to do it. So that was a pretty good call there. We'll talk NBA 2K League, the update. Texas athletes, University of Texas, Austin, Hook'em Horns. Oh, man. The eyes of Texas, they want all of that gone. They want a complete overhaul at the University of Texas to be more inclusive. We'll talk about that. NASCAR tweeting back at Cicerelli as Renee Montgomery like to say, bye, Ray. They're talking about him. Get into the Get Trouble movie. Guys, we're less than 3 weeks away from the movie coming out, man. It's 2 weeks from Thursday.
And I'm halfway through it.
And
I wonder why.
3 weeks from today, we got the live stream. July. That was really good, Renee, by the way. That was an inside joke. She's making fun of me. That was a Larry laptop moment right there.
That was definitely because I need the link and this is bootleg. Let me just tell you, I need the link. Somebody cut me off halfway through the movie.
Oh, man, that ain't right. But
Cliffhanger.
We'll get it straightened out. Compete Forever on Black News Channel. We saw 3 airings, 2 yesterday, 1 today at 11. The next one at 6 p.m. We'll get into that. All right, let's start because we got Brandon Bell calling in around 125. Be on the lookout. Brandon Bell and Chalk. Coach K, Kevin Mamuzet, founder of Compete Forever, back there pushing all of the right buttons most of the time. We'll see. We'll grade him today. Right now, so far, pretty good. 100% so far.
He got a haircut. I'm just going to throw that out there.
You can only come down.
Hey, I'm jealous, but anyway.
Ooh, he got that fresh line up.
I know. Saw him last night at midnight when we were putting the show together. I'm like, dang. No beard, no scruff.
Who's this guy?
Line up. Look at him. Rocking the high top.
I wish y'all could see him. He's like, all right.
We're going to try to get him on at the end of the show. All right, guys, let's start with that Friday call. NBA players, Kyrie Irving and some of the NBA players on that call to discuss the NBA proposal to restart, getting back in that bubble, 22 teams down at Disney World. Kyrie was on it. I believe KD, Melo, Spider Mitchell, Donovan Mitchell, CP3 was on that call, Dwight Howard, Lou Williams, just some of the participants. And this young lady, the WNBA two-time champ Renee Montgomery. Renee, break it down. Kyrie being painted, and I believe in a slightly negative light, although I get the gist of what he's saying, but it's going to come down to, Renee, do you want to play or not? And can you walk and chew gum? We'll get with that as well with the Austin Rivers response, but we'll let you take the floor. You were on the call. You have the floor, my friend.
Yeah, so the real call was about social injustice. And a lot of people are going to make the call about other things. The real reason for the call was social injustice. There were so many beautiful ideas thrown out there too, where players, they all donate a certain amount of money and they find some pillars that they want to stand on, when it comes to the social injustice. Because when we say pillars, there could be the school system, there could be the prison system, there could be the healthcare system, just so people have an understanding. When you fight social injustice, it's a big topic because there's a lot of injustice, so you have to almost pick what you're going to attack first. So that was a part of the conversation. A big discussion was, if we don't play, and again, it's not saying they're not going to play, but the big discussion was, if we don't play, what are the things, like the return on investments? Companies need to see ROIs. Like, companies need to see, if you don't play, it's because X, Y, Z. So the conversation was, if we don't play, we need to have a return on our investment. What are we going to tackle? What are we going to do? Of course, there was other sayings to where, well, why can't we do both? And then there was the saying for, well, I get it, guys, but why can't we go? We make this money, we pour it back into our community. This was, somebody said this on the call. I don't know the names, but a suggestion was made. Yeah, if we play, we get the money, we pour it back into our community. Because if we don't play, there's going to be ramifications for, those 200 million contracts or the 160 million contracts. They're saying like those won't be a thing next year. So there was a lot of discussion, but the main discussion was, even the guys that, were on the fence, or the guys that wanted to play, the main topic was, if we don't play, show me what I will do instead. Like,
Mm,
some people were like, look, I'm down, if there's something bigger we can do, I'm down, but what is that thing? And
exactly. Mhm.
I think that's been the conversation. So, to Kyrie's point, Kyrie has a little bit, like, me and him think the same. I know that I can't Black Lives Matter inside
Now,
of a bubble.
you're not flat Earth, are you?
I'm definitely not. I do think the
Okay.
earth is round. He did admit on the call, though, that
Just
he's a
joking.
conspiracy theorist.
Yeah,
So
I
that
know.
he's
He's a
admitted that.
smart
Like,
dude. Look, he went to Duke. He's not a dumb. He's
he's
from right
not a
down the street
dumb
here in Newark,
guy.
South Orange. He's
People
not a dumb guy. He's very smart.
people like to dumb things down when
Sure.
they think that the concept is dumb. This is not
Uh-huh.
a good dumb guy we're talking about. When he said the earth is flat, he's a guy that reads a lot of conspiracy theories. So those people look at different things. So this is a guy that I do agree with, an aspect of, there was a saying, and I don't know who said it again, another player, you can't Black Lives Matter inside of a bubble. And some people are like, what? Yes, you can. If you're LeBron James, of course you can. Like, because anything he does can make a huge wave.
He's got
But
a
for
megaphone. Absolutely.
Yeah, he has a megaphone. But for somebody like me, and even on the WNBA platform, our platforms aren't as big. So of course bubble. Other people
some
can
people
do
are
a
like,
lot. For
"What?
me,
Yes, you
I'm
can.
handing
If
out
you're
waters.
LeBron
I
James,
can't
of
do
course
that
you
inside
can."
of a
Like,
bubble.
because anything
For
he
me, the
does can make
certain
a huge
outreach that I
wave.
do,
He's got
the
a
certain good feels that I get, is from being out there. And I know there's different ways. So people need to understand that people want different ways and different
sure.
things to do different ways. So Kyrie Irving was basically saying, why are we only giving one option? He's
Hmm.
like, we've been saying it. We've been saying it to you guys. We've been
Yep.
saying it. And now it took this call for y'all to actually listen, that there's
Hmm.
not just a handful of guys.
Sure.
There's more than just this. You're trying to minimalize the group of people that feel the way I do, but there's
Got
more
it.
than that. So
Let me
that's what the whole call was about.
Good stuff there. It's great to have an insider. Renee, this is why we love you. This is why you're little sis, and
Oh
this
my
is why you're Renee Nay.
God.
Okay? This is why you're on the show for
Oh.
your takes. OG, let me bring you in here. It comes down to dollars and cents, my friends. That's what we're always talking
Definitely,
about here.
definitely.
Look, can you walk and chew gum? What will be the ramifications if you don't, go to Orlando? How many guys can sit out? And is this more about pressure, OG? Pressure on the NBA to keep it
Yeah,
up, to
I,
stay behind this movement.
yeah. I mean, it's so tough because I totally agree, and I'm with Kyrie. On the other end of it, I mean, it's some follow back, and I'm sure we're gonna get into that. But I mean, like you said, at the end of the day, it comes down to dollars and cents, and you got what is it, 20 players that's actually getting paid, and then the other players are like in waiting. Like, I mean, and that's really where the line gets drawn, in opinions and feelings. Like, I think um, a lot of players feel like they can make more of an impact if they're getting paid. And you have others like that they have the staying power to not play if that was the circumstance and still be able to stand behind the movement the way that they want to. So it's obviously dollars and cents, but the king, I mean,
He wants to play, so they're gonna
Has
play.
spoken. Has spoken.
what he says,
That was brought up on the call, though, by the way. A player said, I'm just going to keep it a player. I do know what player, but a player said that if people would get their money right, we wouldn't have to make decisions in a position of we need the money. He said
Bingo.
because
Bingo.
he said because if we took out the money out of it, this was said on the call. He said if we took out the money out of it, I think the vote would be completely different. But people are making decisions based on money, and that goes back to Kyrie's point. Then, like everybody's ostracizing him because he's in a position to make that decision. But if others were in the same position, they would agree with him. That's the difference there.
It is. Derwin, dollars and cents, my friend. When you look at it, these players, I mean, 20 to 25 guys are making big money. When I consider big money, 20 plus million. Maybe 30 guys making, I would say 30 to 40 guys making, 16, 17, 18 plus. What about the other guys? There are what, 400 to 500 guys in the NBA? A lot of it comes down to how much have you taken care of your money. Bottom line, Derwin, this is like the coronavirus, right? And I disagree with Trump on everything. But he did make a point, which is you can't keep the country shut down for a long time. Some of us got to work. I can sit back maybe for 6 months in a year and pay my rent. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people can't. I don't know about you. I don't know about OG. I don't want to sit back a year and not pay my and not work. You know what I'm saying? I like to see more credits than debits because that's how you get money, damn it. So, break it down to me. Just because I can don't mean that I will.
Right. And you got to go back. Some of these guys are young guys. And you know how some young guys don't know how to handle finances. They didn't put that nest egg away. So they're thinking about the bottom line. How am I going to feed my family and, maintain? Whereas, guys like Kyrie, LeBron, and some of these other guys are making millions. So I get it. But this cause is such a big cause right now. I think the time is now. I think that you have to seize this moment, seize the opportunity. Hopefully, when all the sports comes back, that people don't start to forget about the movement.
But being realistic, Derwin. So that's kind of my stance and Kyrie's stance. Realistically, when the biggest matchup of the season happens, what is the conversation going to be about Black Lives Matter?
No, it's going to be about day-to-day game. Once the game starts, we're talking about what happened last night.
Of course. And so that's the whole point. Like, people need to just understand that's the whole point. That's okay. Of course, we're not going to always talk about Black Lives Matter in every conversation of every game. But the point is, right now is a very, particular moment that may not ever happen again, where the world is stopped. There's so much attention on it. So my whole point is, right now in this moment, it's that important. That normally I'm like you guys, I always like to see money coming in. I don't even like to touch my savings. I like to have my checking, and this is how much money always is.
So I like we here. I like that.
I mean, I don't even touch my checking. It's not that I like to see it grow, but I feel like this moment is that important. Just to put it in perspective, that's how I feel like it's that important that maybe I do have to just take some just take some out. I'm not going to get any credits. It's all debits right now.
Sure. Yeah.
And one thing one thing you have now that you didn't have 4 years ago is that you have the world is on board. Germany, England, the world.
Did you see that?
Yeah, everybody's on board.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, as much as I love the NFL and some of these other sports, I would hate come September, TV's flooded with sports right now. Everybody's now staying home. Maybe we're back to work. Maybe school is back in session.
Yeah, people are out though. I can tell driving around. People are finally back out now.
It was all good in the neighborhood yesterday. I'm telling you, I walked to Target and they out.
They're out there, man. They what we like to say, Renee, they out here. We out here.
They out here. Hotlanta been out. Y'all late. Hotlanta been popping, okay?
Oh, remember we were making fun of the blue Flame? Well, one of my colleagues, she's a big-time stylist down there. She's been a neighbor of mine. She had a live with one of the girls from the Blue Flame on the other.
You are lying.
I said, man.
Larry laptop.
Blue Flame was open in Atlanta, Georgia. She was inside of it, unless it was an old video, but it said Instagram.
Reporting live from Blue Flame.
Reporting live from the Blue Flame.
Gotta get it. Gotta
All right,
get.
let's move on. Let's throw in Austin Rivers. He had the comment, of course. He understood, of course, what Kyrie Irving was saying, and he understood a lot of the points. But of course, he had to, play devil's advocate. Look, a lot of people can't wait. You want to be able to do both. Walk and chew gum, I believe, was the analogy that he made, and I sort of agree with him. I'm probably leaning more towards Austin Rivers. Just your thoughts on? He didn't clap at him. He just gave his
No,
thoughts.
it was
But
great.
he actually said what I think probably at least the majority. I don't know if it's slight or
That's
maybe it's super. At least the majority of the players believe.
and that's my thing. It's not that we don't want anyone to go into the bubble. I've always said that people just want to be heard. So Kyrie saying, what are some options that you are going to give the people that some people don't want to go for COVID, some people don't want to go for other reasons. You can't just say, look, take it or leave it. I think that's the stance. So to Austin's point, I agree that that is something that should happen, not could happen. That's something that should happen. When the league starts back up and players make a lot of money and they want to show their support, they all should find a pillar and pick it. But some people don't want to play while doing that. Some people just want to focus everything into that right now because the situation is hot and we want to pour gasoline
Sure.
on it.
Right.
So that's that. I get Austin. Like I understand that argument too. Like I get it. It's just about. That's why I say it's a personal preference. I really think this is all personal. It's almost like politics. This is a
Right.
personal decision.
Derwin, Austin also said something about, look, if you look at trying to help this movement, Black Lives Matter, social injustice, a lot of it is building generational wealth with the players. That's also how you help the African American community.
Mhm.
That caught my ear. I'm like, that makes sense. Not saying he's 100% right, but I was like, I nodded my head. You, Derwin, go ahead.
Yeah, you want to generate generational wealth, make that money,
It's all
stockpile
of
it.
the above. We have to be able to do all of the above.
Yeah,
We have to walk and chew gum. We do.
keep it in the black communities. You want to kind of do that. My question is, you guys to play professional sports, how you want to be able to do both at the same time, but the guy that's playing for the championship, that let's say that's focused like Michael Jordan was, he's focused on the game. How is he going to be able to also be doing things for Black Lives Matter?
I'm
Are you
so glad you said that, Durham,
because some
because
guys have
coaches are going to want 100% of you.
right,
I
Yeah.
don't know what people know
Off
about
season.
sports.
Yeah. Off season. You're
I
right.
know, I know, but people are trying to act like during the season, like we just talked about with the WNBA, there's going to be 3 games a week.
right.
That's that's a lot of games a week when you still factor in. Okay, we're not
You're
traveling.
not going to be able to march. Maybe you could make a statement. Maybe you
Well,
could
you
do
can't
some,
leave the
some
bubble,
interviews.
so you were
Yeah.
never going to
So
be able to
yeah,
march.
you're done anyway. So I
Maybe
mean,
a lot of Zoom and maybe get a bunch of.
But
I'm
can you
serious.
understand why people feel like you can't Black Lives Matter from inside the bubble? It's just
Right.
this is professional sports we're talking about again. Like this isn't just the YMCA league where you show up for a
sure.
game and
Right.
you didn't really. They're going to be focused
You have
on
a job. Yeah.
the
You have a nine
scouting
to five,
reports.
basically. Absolutely. You have a
Right.
9 to 5, basically. Yeah. You can't do it.
So of course the walk and chew gum, that's obviously best case scenario. But for the players that necessarily may not want to do it, it's because
Yep.
I know how I prepare for games. I know how I watch film. I know how I study. So
Uh-huh.
for me, that's like going to be hard to do while I'm still trying to plan this event or plan this. It's hard.
Yeah. OG, how do they do this? How do they balance this out, man? Doing
Um,
a lot for the movement, but also understand that you have to play.
I mean, I think it's gonna have to be more of a in-game stance and everything like that. The more I was thinking, and, I didn't play professional sports, Darwin, but I'm looking at it like it's almost it's a restricted area. It kind of puts you kind of back in college a little bit for most of the professionals where they used to being out doing whatever they want, and now you're bubbled as it is. And I think it's more. I think their time could be more of a demand than normal on game planning and focusing on the task at hand, other than your personal agenda. So I think it's going to be very difficult to do that, other than making in-game stands.
I mean, and they
Um,
have teams. I know people are probably thinking, this is LeBron James. He has a whole team of people. But that's the thing. Like for
But
somebody like me, I want to be
you
on
have
the
to be the
front.
face
Like
of it,
yeah,
absolutely. And
Right.
if you want to be on the front lines, absolutely. Derwin, you can. I guess OG's right. In game, sort of, something which you can do there. Also,
t-shirts. I mean, different things of that nature.
monetary, also monetary
Monetary,
donations
yeah.
Right.
and funding it that way.
That's
But you're
probably
right.
the
You're not going to be
easiest
able to
way.
give full force to it.
No, because it's LeBron James is preparing he has the pressure of he's the king. his team is favored to win the championship, he's going to have a certain mind state that I'm focused on the next game and the next game. I don't see how he's going to have time. Maybe I don't want to speak for him to also be doing things with BLM. I don't know how he's going to be able to juggle that. One thing I can think of is maybe keeping his face fresh out there with maybe some Zoom or
And he will.
something like that. So people won't forget I'm still part of the movement, even though I'm playing, I'm stuck in this bubble. I'm still with you guys. I'm still doing things, and maybe NBA players, WNBA could do some things as a whole with Zoom or whatever.
And Instagram
Right,
story
Instagram.
live. I mean,
Yes.
He already
social
started a
media.
campaign about voting. So that's the thing.
Sure.
LeBron James has started a whole school and he's not in Cleveland anymore. Again, I said people like him, he can do it from anywhere. It's
Right.
easy for somebody like him, but for somebody like me whose platform isn't as big, I need to be more hands-on,
Or the
basically.
425th guy that's making maybe 750, 800,000, which is league minimum, somewhere around there. What does he do? So yeah, look, very valid points. We need to figure out, but I'm glad that Kyrie brought it up because it made us
Right.
all think. I don't know if I'm with him 100% on, just sitting out, but he did make me think, and I do credit him for that. Also, you look at it. There was another, thing that came out with the NBA, 2020-21 season, maybe no fans. So now you're looking at more of a hit financially.
hmm
That's telling the guys you got to play. I mean, you ain't got to shut up and dribble, but you're gonna have to
And
march
that's the
and play at
point
the
they
same
made.
time.
You got to
Yeah,
have money.
you
So
got to have
so
money.
that's the problem.
Yeah,
If your decision would be different had you had money, that's a
right.
problem.
If they don't return, I think they lose $1.2 billion.
They rounded it at $2 billion. They get six, like
Whew.
8 billion is the marker. You get six if you don't return or something like that. And that's a big hit. Like that's the thing.
Yeah,
That is a big hit. So I get I
that's
even get
about
the
right.
other.
That's about a quarter of the season. They got to finish out with the playoffs. Yeah.
Yeah. I like I said, I get it all. That's why I say it's a personal preference. People have to understand. It's like politics. If people, it's personal.
It is. It is. Real quickly, let's keep it in the bubble. Your thoughts on some of these young stars that will be coming up for big contracts? Jason Tatum in Boston. We talked about Spider Mitchell, Donovan Mitchell, De'Aaron Fox, Bam Adebayo, Kyle Kuzma. Some of these young stars, they're looking for insurance. If they get injured or anything, I think they definitely want to come back. They're young enough. They're 22, 23, whatever, 24 or younger in most cases. But yeah, 3-4 years in the league, looking to strike it rich either next year or the year after. Are your thoughts on these guys wanting some sort of insurance or assurance? I think they're both in the same in this one. We'll go
That's
with you,
smart. I
Renee.
think that's
Yeah.
smart. Um, that was brought up on the call as well.
Another Duke guy.
Yeah, I look. Oh,
Jason
I,
Tatum, yeah.
that was
Jason
brought up
Tatum.
on the call as well, and it was stated that that small window that we've been talking about, injury, like players come in. It was stated that a lot of NBA players live in condos, couldn't work out like normal.
It'll be like 4 months before the last time they played. 3.5, 4 months.
So yeah, bubble insurance should be a thing that all the NBA agents are thinking about, talking about, just some type of protection.
Yeah. OG, your thoughts
Absolutely.
on it?
Nah, I thought it was great. I mean, me, I mean, of course, I'm not saying I'm one of the smartest men on earth, but anytime I hear an idea that I didn't think about on a particular subject,
Yes.
I think it's great. And the one thing about it is that we have the choice now to bring these matters to light. Like, I mean, years ago, they wouldn't have had a chance to bring all this up. It just would have been like more like you either go out and play and get paid, or you don't play. So I think the fact that they have some power, and even bringing up ideas and putting it on the table, that's a big deal to me because I think they deserve it and they earn the right to be protected as much as they can because they're not only providing money for themselves, but when we talk about generational wealth, these NBA players and all the professional players, they're creating generational wealth for everybody above them as well. So I think that they need to be protected more than anybody.
Yeah, you're daggone right. We know the owners, the front office people, the administrators. They're definitely making money, especially the ownership. Derwin, your thoughts? These young guys, man, showing hey, we have a platform and using their strength to prove it.
Yeah, I think all these guys that are looking at contracts next year, they all should get insurance because I'm looking at this reboot of the NBA season, all these seasons, somewhat as a rush job because they're trying to get the season, back started and finished. ACL or Achilles could go like that.
Right.
These guys haven't
and to
played
go
in
from like
months.
5 million to like 25, 30, 35 million,
Yeah.
5, 6, 7 times what you're
Look at
making.
Isaiah Thomas.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So
That
you
was
want
hip, right?
Yeah, you want to protect yourself. You don't want to step back on that court without some kind of insurance because you don't know what's going to happen. They're going to have a minor little training camp before they play these 8 games. And then, the body has been shut down for so many months. So these guys will be wise to protect themselves.
All right, let's keep it moving, guys. We got Brandon Bell calling in here in about 2 or 3 minutes. Let's talk about Pete Carroll. We spoke about him last week and his thoughts on Colin Kaepernick. Pete reiterated that, hey, I should have signed him in 2017. Don't know why he didn't. He had the opportunity. We kind of diverged on why he didn't and why he was not a Seahawk. But he also said that he had a call this week from one NFL team looking into trying to maybe bring in Cap at some point and inquiring about Colin Kaepernick. Your thoughts, guys? We'll start with you, Derwin, on Pete Carroll saying, hey, man, I regret not signing him in 2017. We know why he didn't sign him. His quarterback didn't want him. That's why.
Stop it. Anyway,
okay. All right.
I listened to the call. I watched the Zoom meeting that he had. And basically, what he's really saying is that...
How did you watch the Zoom meeting? Was this open to the public?
I have the Seattle Seahawks app.
Blue.
And it was 60 minutes long, and I watched it.
Okay, so it was a press conference. Okay.
Yeah, it was a press conference. All the reporters were watching.
Oh, okay. I thought you had like some unique access.
I wouldn't have been surprised.
For the Seahawks and Microsoft. Like, were you in Bellevue or were they written Washington? Were you out? What were you doing?
But basically, he really felt like, when they had the meeting, they never worked him out. They wanted to see where his head was at. They wanted to talk to him. You also want to find out, does he have a backup mentality? And he said after talking to him, they spent like half a day with him, even though they didn't work him out. And he said they were very impressed with him, and they realized this guy's a starter. He's a starter in this league. We already have a starter. And Carroll really thought that the fact that even if it didn't work out with them, the fact that Seattle brought him in would prompt some other teams to inquire as well, because the history of Seattle and their reputation of giving guys opportunities. And I think he's really saying if he knows then what he knew now, he would have signed him, because Cap would have never played in Seattle. He would have just held the clipboard. Russell Wilson doesn't miss any games, but he would have signed him probably to a 1-year deal, because this is what Seattle does. They get a bunch of guys.
Backups don't sign
1-year deal. And then after a year, Carroll could say he's been here a year, he's been a model citizen, put a good word for him, and then maybe somebody else would have signed him. And I think Carroll generally, is saddened that he's never gotten an opportunity.
Right.
And he also went on and said, and I didn't know this, he said that Kaepernick called him out of the blue, even before the meeting. He called him and he said, I had never spoken to Cap other than on the football field. And he said, he called me and asked me, and I was flattered. He said, he asked me, what should I do with my career? What should my next move be? And that prompted when Trevon Boykin, who was the backup at the time, got in trouble, got arrested. That prompted them to bring Kaepernick in to talk to him and things of that nature. And I think genuinely, he really felt like he thought Cap was going to get a job. Mm-hmm. He really thought he was going to get a job. And then actually, when you think about it, the Ravens did call him in.
Right.
John Harbaugh, who's Jim Harbaugh's brother, called him in. Bisciotti, who's the owner.
Saw him in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Bisciotti, who's the owner. Yep. They sat down. They called Ray Lewis.
And now look at Bisciotti. You see Bisciotti.
Yeah. So why didn't anyone pull the trigger then?
See, and that's the point.
Hold on. But after that, that's when the girlfriend put out the racist tweet.
Tessa, we talked about that.
You can't insult the owner and Ray Lewis and with some slavery racial. You can't do that.
Sure.
And now, the other 30 teams are seeing this.
Right.
They're like,
right.
So you think that's what happened that shut everything down?
Well, there's the regret. The regret is, look, I wish that I should have stepped up and done something, because you can't expect other people to do it for you. Exactly. That's the regret. And that's how I thought felt.
What we talked about before was this was all a money issue anyway. Now this is starting to sound like this is a whole conversation about
never been about just the money. That's
I can't.
Point.
That's why I can't follow this conversation, because if you're saying that the $4 million, I believe that number's in my mind for a reason. I think somebody said $4 million is what he would want to be paid and nobody's going to pay him that. But that doesn't even seem to be like the
That's
conversation.
backup money. That's
No,
a lot of backups are making that money.
I said, knowing the Seahawks situation,
Right, right.
Trevon Boykin, who was the backup, was only making $1 million.
Right, right.
Okay.
Most teams are going to pay you. Yeah.
But Kaepernick had made $14 million his last year guaranteed.
Sure. Most backups make 5 or less.
Right.
That's true.
The question is he willing
to compete for the starting job and he doesn't win, and then you got a hot
my thing is the whole point that was being made was that this was almost a money issue, but now it sounded like this was not. But you remember our last conversation, right? We talked about a lot of money, and I kept on saying, okay, money, but would people sign him? And you were like, he doesn't want backup money. That's the problem. But now this is not seeming like that's the case. So I'm trying to figure out where is the disconnect
here. Here's what you do if you're an NFL team. No, here's what you do if you're an NFL team. You want to sign Colin Kaepernick, you take it to the media. Here's a $4 million backup contract. And you sit back and say, what do you want to do, big boy? Do you want to play? Nobody did that. Now, I don't know if he wanted to play. I do question his intentions as well. But the 32 NFL teams, no one came forward. Like we see a lot of times when teams leak.
That's my point.
He wanted him for 10 years and $28 million. No one did that.
That's my point. Yeah.
But this is a different time. It's 4 years later now. He might say, I don't even think he'll take the $4 million now.
Let's see.
He's made more money just sitting at home doing whatever. He's made more money off the field. He's become a living martyr. That's how I feel.
Well, no, but that is the word.
That's what he's become.
The word martyr
so what?
Well, yeah, he gave up his career. So that's a term. I mean, they took it. It was in it. It was in his. I mean, could that still be considered his prime when all this happened? This 4-year hiatus.
Coach, let me know we got Brandon Bill on the line.
So if that could still be considered his prime, and all this happened, he didn't get re-signed ever again during his prime. You can safely say that we still don't know what he could have been. Like that's why you say in his what we don't know what he would have done.
No one knows, but I say there's a report that the XFL wanted him. He asked for $20 million. $20 million.
Because he was the face of the XFL. That's somebody saying, I'm gonna be the face of the XFL. Pay me for it.
If you're Colin Kaepernick, right? He went to a Super Bowl. He made $14 million guaranteed, sitting around doing nothing, right?
Right.
How much? I go back to
16 TDs, 4 picks his last year.
4 and 20 in his last 24 games. If you want to throw out numbers,
that was not Super Bowl 47 San Fran. That was 2016 San Fran, not 2012.
And that was 20 whatever. Colin Kaepernick. He was in the same guy.
16 and 4.
He was coming. Listen.
That's like saying a guy in the NBA, and he's giving you 25 and 10. And he's on a team that won 20 games. Is he still not a damn good player just because the Knicks
quarterback
or whatever team, the Grizzlies or whatever team is going to enter? He's still got to give the individual the credit, right?
Sometimes, Larry, the quarterback gets way too much credit, and sometimes he gets, you know what I'm saying? And I think at times
he ain't getting credit in this case.
Times I think he got more credit because people talk about, he led him to Super Bowl. They act like Frank Gore wasn't there. They act like they didn't have a top-ranked defense that held them down.
The defense was good, but offensively,
the defense
was all about. Look, the defense was
Anquan Bolden, Crabtree,
an older Anquan Bolden, an old Randy Moss.
Stop it,
Darwin.
Colin Kaepernick's career highlight is the Green Bay Packers. All he was doing was running through the Green Bay Packers.
Don't let him do this, America. Don't let him do it. Stick to one side. 2016 or 2012. Which one are you talking about? And then I will address you, kind sir. Which one?
I'm talking about his entire
career. A minute ago, you talking 2016.
Well, he went
to a Super Bowl, 2 conference title games. Are you kidding me?
Okay,
you act like not at least a backup.
Hold on. You act like he did. You act like he did that on his own.
No, but he left the offense. They didn't have any great offensive weapons.
What? Frank Gore is going to the Hall of Fame.
You had a great running attack. You need to have a running back. This ain't the '90s Cowboys.
Vernon Davis, Crabtree, Anquan Bolden. Come on, man.
An old Anquan Bolden and a very old Randy Moss, his last team.
And you know they were getting crushed.
I was there with Randy Moss in New England, but this was the last year he played.
But you know they were getting crushed in that same Super Bowl, right? Until the lights went out. They were getting destroyed.
And
you forget that.
Who brought them back?
Frank Gore. You forget the run he had? In that game?
You forget the runs that he had and the throws that he had.
What did they do in the last play? They went cover 0 against them.
And it was pass interference.
They said, we're going to just come at him. We're going to make Kaepernick think, and he didn't get it done. Period.
The gave up, 40
they lost the game. He didn't win us. Last time I checked,
the defense was great.
The last time I checked, he didn't win that Super Bowl.
No,
he lost it.
But he scored 30-something. It's like New England 2 years ago, Super Bowl 52. That's on Belichick. They gave up 41. Brady scored 33, threw for 500 yards, 3 touchdowns, a Super Bowl record. That ain't his fault.
So, Larry, according to you, he needs a gold jacket. We put him in Canton,
I didn't say that. I said
put him in Canton. The way people talk about him, the way they talk
about him. The big jump, Derwin. I don't know, but that was a large jump.
Come on, the way we talk about him, he's like the greatest thing since sliced bread.
I say he's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
He was a runner. He was a very good runner. He ran like a gazelle. But he wasn't the best. He wasn't the best quarterback.
But neither is Lamar Jackson. Hell, he's an MVP.
Right.
He hasn't won a playoff game.
Exactly.
Super Bowl and 2 NFC Championship games.
Okay.
2 NFC Championship games.
He won one. He lost the other.
And went into Seattle and almost won that one.
But he didn't. He lost.
He won at Lambeau.
He owned cash.
He ran through Lambeau. I give you that.
I see him. I know.
OG said, "Is he owned?"
I want my good friend Durham Worrell, who I love, ladies and gentlemen.
This is so good.
It's just that it drives me crazy with the people that say he's not any good. And it's like, you know how many bad quarterbacks there are? Nathan Peterman. Nathan Peterman threw 5 picks and got another start, dog.
Nathan Peterman ain't gonna cost me $4 million either.
He shouldn't be in the league. I don't care if he's minimum wage. He's worth $725. He threw 5 picks and like 8 passes, dude, and got a start.
Ooh. Oh wow, it's quiet.
You know what that is? Let's go to the phone lines, 877-853-5247, live here on Esports Extra. Let's bring in my guy, meeting ID, by the way, Esports Extra, 377-678-9872 at the pound button twice to join the show. I love Derwin because he gets me going. This is the one topic, damn it, that gets me going.
This is what gets the people going. That's what we want to see. I told you, I become a fan at that point of the show. I'm a fan of the show at that point, like, woo. Wait, sorry, Brandon. We're on the way.
Brandon Bill. Let's bring in Brandon Bill here live on Esports Extra, former Penn State Nittany Lion captain, also Bengals linebacker as well. Brandon, what's up? Good Sunday to you, bro.
What's going on, Larry? How you doing?
I'm good, man. Dude, you were all over the TV yesterday and this morning, dude. You were on the Black News Channel, man. I saw you doing some Madden. What's that all about?
Hey, man. Shouts out to you. You plugged me in on the Madden tournament. And glad I was able to make it out there a few times.
Yeah, you got another episode coming out. It's going to air on TV, I believe, in 3 weeks. So I'll let you know about that. It's the one we did at Resorts World that will be airing on TV,
cool,
I believe, 4th of July weekend. So I'll let you know about that. All right, let's talk about your former coach, Bill O'Brien. Look, you played for him early on in your Penn State career. You ended your career playing for James Franklin. Tell us a little bit about Bill O'Brien and your thoughts. Were you surprised at him taking a stand and deciding to kneel with the Texans this year?
Well, Bill O'Brien, everybody loved him. I know I did. Time, 1 or 2.5 years, I think, something like that. But I recruited by him and everything, and honestly, I'm not too surprised. Kind of surprised just the NFL in general kind of coming together more so than it's ever been. But as far as him as a person, from what I know, he's definitely whatever he thinks or says is going to come out. You know, he's one of those fiery guys like that. Not going to really hold his tongue too much. So by that regard, I'm not too surprised.
Well, you know, I covered Billy O, which we called him in New England offensive coordinator. Talked to him once or twice. Coached a great Tom Brady. I know he was fiery because I saw him get at Tom Brady on that sideline against the Redskins. Billy O's got he got a tongue on him as well. So when I say that I was surprised, I didn't know that. I guess he cares about his players, Brandon, but for him to take this step, this is the ultimate sign of I got your back like chiropractic. You know what I'm saying?
True. Yeah, Matt, like I said, the NFL coming together and coaches kind of standing up, not just, a few players, is definitely a surprise. I agree with that.
Let me go ahead and get your thoughts on Baker Mayfield. Clap back at an Instagram post yesterday, Instagram comment. Someone was saying, "Hey, I know that Baker Mayfield won't be
I'm
taking a
sorry.
knee this year,"
No, you good.
and Baker chimed back in. He said, "You don't know what I'm going to do, Blake, and absolutely I will." He said, "Blank, I think quote unquote, I absolutely am." Were you shocked to see
Mhm.
that Baker Mayfield is going to take a knee? And I think this is where we need to go, Brand. I want to get your thoughts on our white colleagues, especially the faces of the NFL, i.e., white quarterbacks
Nice.
taking a stand with the rest of the black players.
Definitely.
He said, I absolutely
Yeah.
will. Just chiming in.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, like you just hit the nail on the coffin right in the head. White core teams, the franchise, unfortunately, but we all know it just holds more weight, you know? So those guys making a stand, standing up, being with their teammates, kind of becomes the opposite of Drew Brees. Not that Drew Brees was just very unaware, but the
Sure.
complete opposite spectrum of that. He's riding with teammates for, black guys. So that, I'm sure they'd love to see that. And not surprised either. It's another fiery guy. Like
Yeah, I think we got a little small problem with your phone, Brandon. Let's see if we can get a better
oh,
reception.
shoot.
Renee, you're good. Renee, go ahead and jump in here. Do you want to have a follow up talking about Billy O'Brien or Baker Mayfield with Brandon Bell?
Yeah, I was going to talk about XFL. Is that a conversation in the other leagues as well? Like, we hear a lot about the NFL. Is that a conversation
Mhm.
in other leagues?
I'm not too sure. Obviously, with the XFL taking
Yeah.
a little pause right now, I'm not sure if teams are really too much contact. But honestly, I'm sure the XFL would be a lot quicker to, let's say, unify on that and stuff like this because I think a lot of guys and coaches are, a little bit. It's a little bit more free. NFL, as we've known, is a little bit more scary, more strict. There's a lot more, hidden conversations and things like that.
Corporate.
But
Yeah, I was just gonna say because I'm glad you said that because I was thinking that
mhm,
this would be the perfect time for an XFL because I think that you guys could
it
have
would.
you guys could do so many different things. You don't have the rules like the
Mhm,
NFL, the straight connection to the military like the NFL. So that's why I was curious.
mhm.
What would have been the tone with the
Well,
XFL?
well, the
Yeah,
XFL is
I mean,
defunct now, so what
unfortunately,
have to be the CFL? I
yeah,
guess would be a league that would start up here soon.
yeah. But CFL, it's Canada. They kind of got a different view on society and things like that. Not sure if it would hit the same, not being in the states.
Yeah. Well, what do you think Billy O'Brien is saying to his teams? Take us behind the curtain. What sort of type of person he is? I've seen him just from a offensive coordinator
Hmm.
standpoint, being accountable and being a really good coach with X's and O's. What type of a coach is he, and
Hmm.
how does he? How do you think he's communicating this towards his players? Because we saw him and D Hop seems like they had some issues. Maybe it was just
Yeah, a
money
little.
with DeAndre Hopkins. But what type of a coach
Hmm.
do the Texans have down there in Houston?
Yeah, from what I remember, he's a player's guy. He's a football guy. He's in the X's and O's, but he's also like a relationship because everybody to be on the same page because ultimately it's about winning. And that's how it was in college ball. In college ball, you had to deal with a few extra things, as far as the university and boosters and things like that. And he was just all about football and the players. If you remember that he put the names on the back of our jerseys at Penn State, which was very unheard of.
Yes.
And that was kind of going against what a lot of the donors, the people wanted. But he knew the players at the time. We really loved it. So, he's down the ride with it.
That's a very good point. A lot of people didn't know that. That's a very good story.
Definitely
Glad you
didn't
brought
know
that
Yeah.
that.
up. We're speaking here live on Esports Extra, the only live call-in sports show talking traditional sports and esports. We'll take your phone calls live, 877-853-5247. Meeting ID, Esports Extra. Hit the pound button twice to join the show. We're talking to Brandon Bell, Penn State Nittany Lions captain back in the day. Played on that I believe the 2017, right? 2016, 2017 Rose Bowl team that played
16,
against,
yeah.
yeah, Sam Darnold and stuff. I remember your last play, dude. Uh, you,
Uh,
you, your
yeah.
last play you got injured in the Rose Bowl, right? On a pick, almost a pick six. You took it back to like the two.
Almost a pick six,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, that's the play. Haunts me.
Lastly, I want to get your thoughts on another shot in the NFL. You played 2 years ago with the Bengals, had You were in
Mm-hmm.
camp with the Panthers last year. Look, we love you. You're my guy doing Madden and anything. We got some other stuff that we're going to be doing here that's growing, and I'll
Yes,
talk to you
sir.
about it off the air. But definitely, the NFL is something that you want. It's a love of yours. We know you're definitely still shooting for that goal. Where are you in the process of trying to get back into the NFL? And do you think you'll be in an NFL training camp sometime middle to late next month?
Yeah, I mean, definitely that's the process and the point. You know, the virus and everything shutting down made it a little bit tougher for guys like me to possibly, get brought into the building, work out and things like that. So hopefully within these next few weeks, if things start to open up, those possibilities can open up as well, and try to get some tryouts and, like you said, get into a camp, try to make something happen. Yeah, definitely that's the goal. As you know, you got to fight for this dream. It's once in a lifetime opportunity. I've been in it. I got a taste of it. So before I hang it up, I gotta make sure I exalt all options.
Where's the fire in the belly, so to speak? A little sports analogy. How much fire is in the belly, man, to get back in the league, man, and be one of those, 14, 1,500 guys, man, that walk around and says, look, I
Yeah,
play professional football, damn it.
yeah, man. It's always there. Especially you got you play at the highest level of college. Like I said, you've had a taste of it, and then just the love of football. I had a little taste of XFL as well, and that's great as well. Any opportunity to play football, make some money, and really just making money playing a game is something you didn't realize till you're out of it. Definitely keeps that fire in you.
All right, good stuff. Well, Brandon, man, dude, we love speaking with you, dude. I'll be in contact with you, man, and we'll see you down the road doing some Madden. Hopefully, you don't get a chance to do it with us this year because you're playing in the NFL.
Yes, sir.
Tell your young lady I said hello, man, and I look forward to
I
seeing you
will. I
guys.
will.
You guys are so great and good people, man, and keep up the good work. And we're hoping that you get another shot in the National Football League, brother. Stay well, okay?
Thank you. Thank you. You guys be safe out here.
All right,
All right,
good
Thank
you
you
stuff.
too.
very much.
That is Brandon Bell, a New Jersey resident, born and raised down there near the Jersey Shore. Played at Penn State, was the captain at
I
Penn State.
like it where
The
his
Nittany Lions.
confidence is.
Yeah. Want to see him
Okay,
get
I
back.
like that.
Definitely want to see him get back. Brandon, be good, man. Have a good Sunday to you, brother.
Yes, sir. You too. Hopefully see you guys soon.
All right, cool, good stuff.
All
That was
right.
Brandon Bell. Look, we talk about it all the time. I definitely want to see him get another shot. He played well with the Bengals. Had a couple of starts. Played special teams. Was with the Panthers last year, so we'll see about that. And hopefully he gets another shot. Let's go from gridiron to virtual basketball and bring in Nets GC rookie for the Brooklyn Nets gaming crew. What Brooklyn at,
Brooklyn
Chalk?
at.
I got one question, Chalk. What Brooklyn at?
Chuck?
You hear me?
Chalk? Yeah. What Brooklyn at? That's the question I got for you, bro.
What's up, man? What's up, man? How's it going?
Good, bro.
We're right here, man.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Right here. That's Hey, Chuck, thanks for joining us, dude. You're a rookie in the NBA 2K League. Tell us about your experience so far playing for the great Ivan OG King Curry.
Listen, man. I love me some OG King Kerr. Love Hank. Love all the GMs, and that was one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to go there. I like being addressed as a rookie, but hopefully, we can relink and have this conversation in a couple of months, and you guys call me, Rookie of the Year. We've had a good year so far.
Chuck.
And yeah, I mean, we're looking to continue off of that. I mean, we're not, necessarily where we want to be. It's still super early in the season, but the goal is to, be as successful as we possibly can. So, it's too early to say whether it's been a good year or not. But so far, I mean, we can't really complain. We're in playoff contention, and we're having our first tournament coming up next week. So far, so good.
You guys are 4-3, Chalk. Tell us a little bit about the start so far, man. You won, I believe, 3 in a row. You got to 0-1, and then you won 3 in a row. Got the 3-1. You were 4-2. Suffered a defeat on Friday night. Just give us a little sense of the team so far. 7 games in, the Nets 4-3, middle of the pack. Somewhere around 10, 11, 12 in the NBA 2K League with the 23 teams.
For sure. So, I mean, we don't really look at our first game as a loss. We got put under a lot of tough situations. And I mean, in reality, with all of our losses, there's been a storyline behind it, whether it's been internet problems or, like I said, with our first game, we weren't even supposed to play and we kind of just got thrown into the fire. Everybody knows that when we're clicking, we're one of the best teams in the league. When we went into the season, everybody was predicting us to be one of the bottom 3 teams. people on Twitter saying that we wouldn't even win 2 games. So, I mean, we've already broken everybody else's expectations, and I mean now it's time to go out. Exactly, you know.
Good stuff. We're talking here live on Esports Extra, the only live call-in sports show on Twitch, Mixer, YouTube, and Facebook, talking traditional sports and esports. We'll take your phone calls live, 877-853-5247, meeting ID Esport Extra, 377-678-9872 at the pound button twice to join the show. Larry Ridley, SNY TV, Madden NFL, NBA 2K, NBC Sports, Brooklyn Nets Gaming Crew, GM Ivan Curtis, Duran Worrell, fellow sportscaster, two-time WNBA champ Renee Montgomery. Renee, jump in here. You want to talk to Chalk?
I definitely want to talk to Chalk. Chalk, first of all, love where your confidence at. I don't even have to ask you, but I have a question for you. So, if people think that you're arrogant, can you explain to them the difference between arrogance and confidence? Because to me, you seem like a very confident dude. You mentioned that you guys are successful, and that's why you should be a rookie of the year. You mentioned that people only thought you were going to have 2 wins and that you have more than that and you're walking the walk. So, can you explain to the people that might consider you arrogant, tell them the difference to what confidence is?
Well, I mean, you would know because you like you
I
said,
like
you
this
won at
question.
the highest level, and for you to win in anything or be successful in anything that you're doing, you have to have a different level of self-belief in yourself, whether you want to be, a good video game player, or you want to be a good basketball player, or you want to be a successful businessman. You can't do anything and be successful at it in life unless you have a different level of self-belief and confidence in yourself. So when it comes to arrogance, I'm not looking at myself like I'm better than anybody else, or, I'm above anybody else. I just know what I bring to the table in certain situations, and I'm confident that, whatever I'm going to be doing or whatever I'm signing up for, that I'm going to be one of the best at it. So I look at it more like just a belief in myself rather than, being arrogant or feeling like I'm above anybody else.
Well, I always knew this day would come where a player would get on here and speak to my soul. You're that guy. Thank you, Chuck. I have no further questions. That is literally the definition of confidence, and that is dudes from you. And I think that it's intimidating to people. You're a confident guy. You're not an arrogant guy from what I've seen. I don't watch you play the games, but keep that up. Keep that confidence wherever you go. Like, that's lit.
It's funny. It's funny they call people that are arrogant, and they're typically winners. So, Chalk, that is not a
That's
bad
why I
thing.
brought that in there. I said,
Typically
now,
winners.
you said success because you have to hear certain keywords. Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. Chalk, before we let you go, man, we know you got some things to take care of. One last question before we let you get out of here. Your thoughts on the NBA 2K League, NBA 2K21 trailer that came out. I don't know if you saw both of the Ben Simmons, and we also saw Zion Williamson
I did.
Your thoughts on, man? And look, game looks hype, man. Look, the trailers are always that way. I voiced the Madden game for 5 years, and I did a bunch of trailers, so they always look good. But what do you think so far of the NBA 2K21 trailer?
I think it looks good. I mean, it looks super realistic. Again, like you said, you can only see so much, and you know how trailers are. They're a little gassed at times, but I mean, the way Zion was hanging on the rim, it just looked so realistic. The way the sweat was going down him, and I feel like every year it's like the players just get sweatier for some reason. It was just like it looked like it was actually Zion. So I mean, it looks like we're in good hands. And I mean, you can only hope that we're in good hands, especially with the next generation consoles coming. You got to assume that they're going to make a big leap. So I'm excited to see, what comes of it.
Well, what about the NBA 2K League, man? We got to get a Chalk character, man. I want someone to look just like you, man, and have some swag and some drip like you, man. Running the show for the Nets, man.
Yeah, look, as long as they get the hair right, I couldn't really complain. I don't have any the most swaggy. If they could get my hair in the game, that would be dope.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh, good stuff. All right, well, Chalk, man, we really appreciate it, man. Good luck in the turn this week, man. Of course, all of the cast here, the crew here at Esports Extra, we're rooting for you guys. I already said it on Thursday that the Nets are going to win the daggone turn, so make me look good, all right, brother?
Yes, sir. I appreciate you guys for having me, man.
All right,
Thanks,
good stuff.
Chalk.
That is Chalk, rookie for the Brooklyn Nets gaming crew. Hope to have him on a few more times.
OG!
OG coming through. Your first guest, OG. That's what I'm talking about.
That's my guy, man. I mean, I really tell people when I was younger, that was me. I always had a high level of confidence, and to a lot of people, I came off the opposite of what I really was, but I was confident in myself, and I always wanted to win. I hated to lose. And Chalk, he truly, I mean, he represents what you want out of a professional player. I mean, he wears his heart on his sleeve. He holds himself accountable. He's willing to push his teammates to be better, and constantly pushing himself to be better. So to me, as a GM and coach, I couldn't ask for more. And I mean, and when he said "Ank," he means YL and Cooney. He's known as Beast Ank in the community, but that's my assistant GM, and we've had extreme confidence in him, and taking him at 9 this year. And I mean, I think he's fitted the bill so far, and I think we're going to improve, keep improving week to week.
Where's he at in the rookie of the year? Where's he at? Top rookie, definitely top 5. I know you love the pick at 9. I think you guys got one of the top 2 or 3 rookies on your team right now.
Yeah, the part about this draft class is just it was a meaty draft class. I mean, there's a lot of talent. I definitely he's in the talks. I mean, he's one player of the week, and I think that won't be his last player of the week. So I mean, he's going to put himself in
Okay,
contention.
Chuck.
Like a lot of young talented players. I mean, they come in. It's a lot to learn. It's a lot to learn to deal with emotionally, because you're playing at the highest level. You're playing for a large amount of money.
I was going to ask
And
that. What's the rookie of the year bonus looking like?
I don't think we there yet.
You don't get a
Like, I mean, but they they get award. They get nice.
Yeah.
It's
No,
nice
but see, so
awards.
this is good then, because that's what I'm saying. So if he doesn't get money and he's like wanting it, it's a pride thing. And again, only people that have a certain level of confidence, like people want something if it has money. But this guy, he was shooting for it. Like I thought there was a money attached to it, but he just wants the title of the best rookie.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, his attitude. I mean, and most of the time when people say attitude and they talk about players, they look at it as something negative. But his mindset and how he approaches things, I mean, he wants nothing but the best. I mean, and he talked to me about it. And one of the roles that I take on is that I try to mold the players and give them advice, the best advice I can give them to succeed with whatever their goals are. And I mean, and like I said, he has his ups and downs just like anybody else, but I think my role is to help balance that and keep him on track.
Real quickly, OG, the turn starting on, I believe, is it Monday, right?
The tip off.
The tip off. Excuse me, I'm thinking of turn. No, the tip off starts Monday, right? Monday through Thursday, is that, or is it Monday through Friday?
Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday. When do you guys play? Monday or Tuesday?
Tuesday. 6.
Okay.
We play at 8 p.m. and 10 p.m.
Got it.
And basically, it's running in the
Is it pool play?
It's pool play, and each team and each group will play each other twice.
Okay.
So, and it'll be broken down into obviously win loss, head to head, winning percentage in different categories to break down who gets out of the group. But
is it the top 2 in the group, or
that I mean, I have to be honest with you, I mean, I haven't focused that far, because my expectations is to go in there and go 4-0 and get out the group.
Talk your talk. Okay. I like that.
Got that far yet, but I started breaking it down. I obviously I was going to wait till we get to. I didn't know we was getting to that portion this soon, but I have everything. I have everything documented I was going to speak on. But definitely, if you go to the NBA 2K League website and things of that nature, you can get all of that information on the ticket. I also want to mention Chalk is playing today in the draft class.
Yeah,
with
3-on-3.
With a lot of top influencers, veterans and top veterans and rookies. So that starts at 4 p.m. on Twitch and YouTube on the NBA 2K League channel. So definitely check that out if you get a chance.
Yeah, good stuff. Want to go back to Derwin. Your thoughts finally as we wrap up this Colin Kaepernick thing, and we were talking about it, Derwin. Just which one is it, 2012 or 2016? And I think,
bring it back.
I keep beating a dead horse.
Well, no, but I think the hunger part is part of it. But I'm trying to figure out which one do you want to focus on, because it can't be all of the above, because I think it weakens the argument a little bit. Because we all know how bad quarterback play is in this National Football League.
But it's not just one thing. It's not just the money. You got to incorporate all the things. Some of it, I believe, is the money. Mm-hmm. Also, you got to remember, there was a circus going on around him, and some teams didn't want to be bothered with that. That's also going to be part of it too. Coaches don't want the distraction. They don't want, fans picketing outside the stadium or not showing up. So that was part of it. I know from following Seattle that their locker room wouldn't have had a problem with it. And they were also doing stuff. Pete Carroll talked about how he allowed the players to do what they wanted to do. When they came out elbow to elbow, locking arms to arms on that field, the players wanted to do that. That's Doug Baldwin, that's Russell Wilson, those guys. Some players wanted to stay in the locker room.
I was about to say Bennett, so they didn't do it all because
some of them, right? Some of them
kneel, so it's like.
Yeah, some of them did, but he allowed the players to do that. It wasn't the owner saying you can't do this. He allowed them to do that. So I know from those players, they all like Cap. They thought Cap was going to be on the team. But Carroll said after speaking to him and maybe picking his brain, Cap let him know, I feel like I'm a starter. I want to compete for a job. He's not going to compete for a job in Seattle. He's not. That would never happen. Not with Russell Wilson there. So Pete Carroll said it wasn't the fit for us right now. He said, and then someone asked him, a reporter asked him, what about today? You might have an opportunity to put him back on that platform today. And Carroll said, I like my situation right now, the backups that we have right now, but we have a long way to go. You never know.
Great Geno Smith, ladies and gentlemen.
And I don't like Geno Smith. I don't think Geno Smith is any good.
That's what I'm saying. This is why the arguments fall. Just say, look, man. Just say I don't. Geno Smith ain't won a damn thing in this league. He ain't Colin Kaepernick.
I don't think Geno Smith.
That's your backup. That's your backup, though.
Hold on. Time out. You keep talking about Kaepernick. The dude ain't playing 4 years. He ain't played. So
Geno Smith played once in the last 4 years, basically.
That's more than Cap.
Yeah, in a game, and he didn't do very well against the Raiders when he played for the Giants a few years ago. When he broke Eli's starting streak.
When's the last time we saw Kaepernick?
I can't.
He was throwing the ball around in high school. That's the last time we saw this guy.
What about these other quarterbacks that get picked up, man? What about these other quarterbacks that get picked up?
You can't live in 2014.
What about these other backup quarterbacks that get picked up? What about them?
They cost me less, and there's not a circus.
Put a contract in front of his face and
they
tell
cost
me
less,
and show America that he turned it down. And then I'll believe you.
They don't have
put a contract in front of his face and show me.
Just guess what, Larry? They don't have to do that. You want to know why?
You know why? Because they want their other failed quarterbacks hold clipboard.
They don't have to do that because Kaepernick decided to take a settlement from the NFL. It's done. It's done. He took the money.
You know what? He's going to be back in the league this year.
That's the only part I ride with Derwin with when he talking about Cap taking money. Anything other than that, I ain't hearing it.
Watch.
But Carroll said for the first
Cap
time,
will be back in the league this year.
Okay,
and I'm going to remember. I'm going to come back to this date.
On tape.
June 15th. We're going to come back to this date, and I'm going to be like, I told y'all so. What is it? 14.
Hey, I just wanted to say that even if he's not back on the field, the NBA has a great opportunity to just hire him in some type of position that involves
inclusive. On the field. Let him fail. Let him go out there and throw 15 picks.
What if he doesn't want to? I keep saying, what if he doesn't want to do that? Again, he hasn't played in 4 years.
This is under the assumption that he does want to play. This is under the assumption.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, let's fast forward to a year from now. He should have a position about inclusiveness in the NFL. Like, that's how you mend that relationship. Give him a job that says, all right, look, we don't want to miss the mark anymore. Can you lead our new team that we just formed of an inclusion team that makes sure that we're being sensitive, that we have the right tone? And then now he's connected to the NFL. You can still sell his jerseys happily. I mean, I know they're still doing that, but I'm just saying, just put him in the front office somewhere.
Derwin, I'm with you, Derwin. He's probably not going to. He's not probably going to win a Super Bowl in 2020. But how many quarterbacks will?
I bet on that.
You need 64 of them.
You're talking about him like he played 2 years. He hasn't played in like 4 years.
I'd take my chance on a Cap that ain't played 4 years and some of these guys haven't played every year.
Here we go, America. I got to do this. I got to do this, America.
Do
it.
Pull up all the backup quarterbacks in the national and help some of the starters. Let's pull up the quarterbacks in the NFL.
We're here for it. Pull them up. Bring them out. Bring them out.
We're going to pull up some of the quarterbacks.
I'm ready. Google
in the NFL.
You Google Derwin. I can already see Larry Laptop is on his Googling. I want to hear what quarterbacks belong in the league ahead of Colin Kaepernick. I think that's the discussion, right?
Okay, so Matt Barkley with the Buffalo Bills. You going anywhere with Matt Barkley?
He's a backup.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying.
He's a
Derwin.
backup.
Okay,
No,
exactly,
I
that's what I'm
think we
saying.
can't do that. The question is, would you take him over Cap?
That's what I'm saying. Is he not a top 64 quarterback? And then let his work speak for itself once he gets into the building and practice.
I'm gonna take the guy that's been in my quarterback room that knows the system, and if my guy goes down, I can give him the ball. He can run my system. That's the guy I want.
You ain't winning no games with Matt Barkley. You ain't winning no games with Matt Barkley. I don't give a damn how well he knows.
Cap can't do that. So we're not winning no games with Kaepernick. We're not winning no games with Kaepernick.
You're making my point, but I think you got a better Matt Barkley. You want him or Jake Fromm? Who should be the backup behind Josh Allen? A running quarterback that plays like Colin Kaepernick. Oh my goodness gracious.
Barkley.
Oh my gosh. Shut my door.
Great, keep going.
Kids, your dad is about to lose it. It's okay. He's on the screen. It's okay.
Yo,
He's not going to harm anyone, okay? Neighbors, don't call the police. I'm just mad at my colleague here. I'm mad at my colleague because he's being ignorant right now and he doesn't have any damn sense. Matt Barkley, really? Okay.
Yeah. Right. Give me the backup that knows my system.
All right.
If you remember, Kaepernick's only been in one system, and it's been kind of like a college system. Yep. The two coaches that he had. They ran a simplified college system for that guy.
Okay, let's go to the Miami Dolphins. Ryan Fitzpatrick is your starter.
Give me Fitzpatrick over Kaepernick.
Yeah, because you're going to win a lot of games with him. How many times has he been over 500? Maybe once in his damn career? Maybe once?
Fitzpatrick's been in so many offenses.
I said, how many times has he been over 500 in his career? He's been in the damn league about 12 to 15 years. Can you win 8 or 9 games? We've seen Kaepernick do that 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Okay, you want Ryan? You want Josh Rosen as your backup? You want Josh Rosen? Sure, you can have Josh. How about the great Jake Reddick, ladies and gentlemen? You want Jake Reddick? You can have him right now in the goddamn in the
Colin Kaepernick is a below 60% passer in the league for his career, and that's not good.
You got Jake Reddick. You can have him too. Okay, here we go. New England Patriots. You want Brian Lewerke? Never heard of him. He plays on a team.
Give me Hoyer. Give me Hoyer.
How about
Give me Hoyer? He's the backup in New England. Give me Hoyer.
You want Brian Hoyer or Jamar Smith too?
Give me Hoyer over Kaepernick.
You want all
these guys have played.
You want all 4 of those guys over Colin Kaepernick. This is getting ridiculous.
Kaepernick has not played.
Let's go to the New York Jets.
We're going to keep doing this
all day. You want the immortal David Fales over Colin Kaepernick? Sure you do.
Those guys ain't seen the field.
Okay, let's go down to Baltimore. They got a running quarterback.
The guy is 30.
Hey, hold on, Larry. Yeah. Ryan Fitzpatrick is 55 and 83.
Yeah. How many times has he been over 500 in his career for a full season? I think maybe once. Maybe.
That's 39. That's a 39% winning percentage.
Do you want? How about you want RG?
You want to do the math, OG.
Kaepernick had one of the top defenses holding him down. He had Frank Gore, who's still playing, who's a Hall of Famer.
But hold on, Derwin.
Pull up the stats from Super Bowl 47. Pull up the stats from 2016.
What top football teams that win don't have a top-ranked defense? Tom Brady is the GOAT, and he's had top-ranked defenses.
Every time he's been to the Super Bowl, he's had a top defense. Every time.
Come on, Derwin.
Every time. Do you want Tyler Huntley as your quarterback?
I don't even know who that is.
Who?
Okay. All right.
I don't even know who that is.
Okay. All right.
I think the point that Larry Laptop is that there are quarterbacks in the league that you don't know who is. We understand that you don't want Kaepernick on your team, period, because he has not played.
He has not played. These other guys.
I understand his point. He doesn't care who you're going to say, Larry Laptop, because these guys are active members. These guys are active members in the NFL.
This guy is sitting on his couch. He's 32 years old. I'm going to sign him to play on my team.
These other guys, all they've done is practice. That's it.
They know the playbook.
Okay, they know.
And that was a question
55 and 83. That's a hell of a playbook.
Listen, there was questions about Kaepernick. Can he get a playbook? Can he get down the playbook? That's always been a question.
Okay, let me take it to the broadcast world because I know you know that world very well. Okay, we go to name a market. They've got a guy that's been there forever. We know he's not as good as Jordan Worrell. We know that. We see it on our TV screen. What are you going to say? What are you going to say? Well, he's been in Nashville, Tennessee, or Waco, Texas, or Bismarck for 8 years. He's better than Doran, and I'm going to say I don't give a damn how long he's been in freaking Fargo. He ain't better than Doran Worrell. I mean, come on, let the talent speak, right?
It's 4 years old.
Hold on, Larry. That's different.
That's different.
Oh, come on!
Oh my goodness!
Oh
boy!
This is so
Larry, stop living in the past.
It's not about look.
You're living in the past.
To a degree, we are living in the past. But bottom line is,
and I'm gonna leave you with this:
give him a shot and let him fail and fall on his face. That's all I'm saying.
Everyone's talking about living in the past with quarterbacks that don't even have a future. That we talking about.
Or that's never played. Exactly.
Yeah. These guys are not 32.
They've been in the system. That ain't old. Tom Brady's 43.
You comparing him to Tom Brady? Are you serious?
No. I'm not comparing it, but Brady's 43.
Brady is the GOAT.
Yeah,
Brady
he
knows,
is.
No, Brady
but
knows
32 ain't old though, right?
Brady doesn't need his legs to be successful. Cap does.
How old is Russell Wilson? He's got to be in his late 20s by now, right?
Yeah, but Russell Wilson doesn't need his legs to be successful. Cap needs his legs.
Cap does need his legs, but he also has a better arm than most of these guys we're talking about. No one's saying that he's the most accurate passer.
He throws it 100 miles per hour with no touch.
Sure. He can work on some of those things.
Yeah, at 32, he's 4 years removed.
Okay, so Nathan Peterman will just throw it to the other damn team. Who cares about that? We'll just throw it to the other team.
Peterman to me is not good.
Then why is he still in the league? Or why was he still in the league after throwing 5 picks?
Because he was young project, and somebody believes in him.
Got it. Okay.
You made me forget my thought I was about to say.
Look, it's either.
You wanted to leave us with one thing, Derwin. What was that?
I lost my train of thought.
See, what
it'll come back. It'll come back to me.
All right,
that was great.
But Kaepernick, come on. Pete Carroll said for the first time on Thursday, a team called about him.
Sure.
Maybe. I doubt it. But that ship has sailed.
All I'm saying is most of the time, Derwin, you're probably right. You want to keep a guy that's in your system, right? You know him. He's a prospect. You know, he's working his way through the system, right? But
so you understand.
But not all 32 teams. Then it becomes collusion, dog.
It's not collusion.
It is.
It's not. If it was collusion, okay, I remember my thought.
It's systemic.
Larry, do you believe that owners want to win?
No, I don't. Not all of them. No.
Not all of them.
No.
Okay.
No.
This is a business. That's not that.
Okay.
Let me enter the chat. This is a business. So first of all, I do think that people are going to try to pick up Kaepernick because now this is a business. Think of how his jersey, think of how his face, think of how him in your locker room, it's going to have that reverse effect that you didn't want him before. So remember before when people didn't want the circus, now companies are looking for the good circus, and that good circus will be in this climate, a Black Lives Matter circus. He is a Black Lives Matter circus in himself. So if people pick him up now, Derwin, if people pick him up now, 4 years removed, what does that say?
That could say a number of things.
Just tell me what it could say. 4 years removed. Tell me what does that say?
I think you brought up a good point. Maybe somebody like a Jacksonville that wants to put fannies in the seats. Maybe they pick up a Kaepernick just for the sole reason of selling tickets.
Oh,
I'm not saying it's right.
So you believe NFL owners want to win?
I'm gonna give you 2 examples. One guy, Ray Rice. You remember Ray Rice?
Sure.
Ray Rice had never been in trouble before.
Right.
He's been a model citizen.
Right.
Rutgers. Nothing ever. I've covered this guy up in New Rochelle, the pride of New Rochelle. I know stories about things he's done for the community.
I was there when he ran all over New England in that playoff game.
I was there. His camp, his free camp, with 700 kids showed up.
Sure.
I've seen his fiance at the time when she would always be there. I used to talk to his mom.
Right.
He did something that he shouldn't have done.
You can't compare the two. You can't.
Let me get my point out. He did something that he shouldn't have done.
Sure.
It's on video. It will live forever.
Right.
Ray Rice, I felt, for all the stuff that he had done,
sure,
I felt like his career shouldn't have been marked by that one thing. I felt like he did too much. I thought he deserved a second chance. He was 27 years old.
Yeah, I think
27 years old, right?
Exactly.
But the fact that he played the running back position, that teams think are expendable. He was 27 years old. but he was only rushing for 3.7 yards a carry. People thought he was declining, right?
Yep.
Then you have Greg Hardy,
Sure.
who was a defensive end who beat up his girlfriend.
Sure.
She had the bruises.
Right.
He went to court.
Right.
He was convicted.
Right.
But in North Carolina, they say you can appeal. When he
And then
he could appeal. He appealed it, and because she did not want to testify, they threw it out. What happened to him? He got picked up by the Cowboys because he can sack.
He can rush the passer.
He can rush the passer.
Yes.
He can help Jerry Jones win. You cannot tell me that if Colin Kaepernick, if Colin Kaepernick could win football games and take a team to the Super Bowl, he wouldn't have a job.
Well, if that is your standard,
you can't tell me that.
If that's your standard, there's about 10 to 12 quarterbacks in the National Football League that can win. If that's your standard.
I mean, because that's tough. I mean, those situations is different. Whenever you get caught on camera, everybody knows that you get caught on camera. Once people can see it, we see it with the climate with Black Lives Matter. We know the cops been doing this, but when you catch something on camera, there is going to be a harsher punishment. That's just a given. It's unfortunate because Ray Rice, that was my, that was my guy too. So I get it like that, but that's different. I'm saying that if all of a sudden these same 4 teams, if it was about the talent and if it was about that, how can they all sign him 4 years? How can any team now sign him 4 years later? Because it goes to what you say. He's been on the couch. He's been this. He's not in the system. So how can you 4 years later justify signing him? And you know that it's a possibility. I know you may think he might not, but you have to admit that there is a possibility that a team signs him this year. Why?
Guys, there's no abundance of quarterbacks in the National Football League.
I would never say
there just isn't.
I still
Put the onus on Cap. Bring him in and let him fall on his face.
No, but that's not the point. The point is that there will be owners that might consider signing Cap now because it's the trendy thing to do.
Sure.
The point is, it's 4 years later. The owners are concerned about this is a business. Why do you think that these negotiations with the MLB is so? It's not about these owners saying, "Woo, I got a great team this year. I want to play because we might win a championship." That's not the conversation. The conversation is these dollar signs. So when we're talking about Cap now, 4 years later, the reason that it is going to be a possibility, it may not happen, but it is a real possibility because dollar signs. Kaepernick is great for any team now. That circus coming to town is a good circus. You think that Black Lives Matter movement isn't going to attach to whatever team?
No fans in the stands, so you ain't got to worry about a whole lot of backlash, especially at your.
But it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. That jersey. We talk about merchandise and all the hits people are going to take.
Sure.
You think an owner that knows that the fan base isn't going to be there? Let's take some jersey sales and offset that. That's the problem that I think a lot of people have. He's still that same person that you're talking about, Derwin. 4 years on the couch. Why now is it talked about he might get a chance?
It's a very good point. Can you picture that jersey in Las Vegas? With the silver and black right now?
Can you picture that jersey anywhere? I don't care what team it is. If the Cleveland Browns start making up a jersey that's brown for him, people are going to rock a Kaepernick jersey. Are you kidding me?
Yes.
It'll be the jersey of the movement.
Real quickly before we move on, go ahead, Daryl.
It'll be trendy. People will rock it. But then I still think people will give the NFL backlash. Like, oh, you only signed him because you wanted to up your jersey sales. I mean, damned if they do and damned if they don't. So
that's what happens when you don't do right the first round.
That's true.
That's what happens when you mess up. Like they messed up, they got it wrong. So of course, when you move forward and try to correct that, you're gonna get some backlash.
It wouldn't be the first time. It wouldn't be the first time.
But you can say they messed up and got it wrong, and they paid for it.
Yeah,
they paid them.
Let's move on to the. We'll agree to disagree.
Okay.
My point is, put the onus on Cap because we all agree we don't know if he wants to play.
Exactly.
They truly know that.
They tried to give him a workout. They tried to give him a workout. How did that turn out?
And no one's given these other no-name backup quarterbacks a workout. They're signing them and letting them play and see if they fail. They either fail up or fail down. So that's what I'm saying. His resume calls for him getting a shot, just like your resume calls for you to at least be brought in somewhere to perform the duties of a sportscaster. Because you've got enough in your daggone resume that says he's competent and can do the job.
It would be nice if he would just come out and say that.
Thank you.
It would be nice.
I mean, look, we're all in agreement that we all want Cap to speak.
Listen,
we all agree on that.
Renee, Larry, OG, it would be beautiful if Cap had the same kind of confidence that you guys got. If he went on Instagram, did an Instagram live, and shouted to the mountaintops that he wants to play, but we've never seen that.
Wouldn't it be great if he started listening to all the backup quarterbacks like this guy? You want this
But
guy or me?
yo,
That would be great.
look at all the fire and passion you guys got, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
That's true.
this has been the problem for 4 years. Everybody else
Absolutely.
has the passion, but him.
Absolutely.
We don't see him. We don't hear
Or
from
we
him.
don't know if he does.
We
Well, I mean,
know.
like
We
I think
know.
his act.
There's
Well,
too
first
many
of all, passion for
platforms.
what? Football? You mean football in particular? Because you got to think too about employers. And I know this is different scenarios, but take a
We
Jamel
got
Hill
to
who
move on. Go ahead.
an employer does you wrong. Maybe you don't want to talk about that employer. Maybe you don't like. Just there's different reasons for not speaking. But I agree. I wish he would
But
speak.
there's no doubt that Jamel Hill still wants to be in the business of entertainment, performance, television, media. There's no doubt about that. She may have had an issue with her last employer, but she's still out
But
there. Hell, she
in
was
the
on
NFL,
MSNBC
there's
last
only
night.
one employer. Yes, there's the XFL and the other
Yeah,
leagues,
there's
but
32
the
of them.
NFL is the NFL. But that he can't. I mean, that's the whole league is one entity at that
Yeah,
point once you
yeah,
go
it is.
against the league.
It is. Yeah, good point. Uh, just Cap, please come back, just so we can just say, all right, he came back and he failed, or
Let's do
whatever.
this
Just-
on an island somewhere, sipping my time.
and see, and that's, and you know what? You're joking, but a lot of that's true because we don't know, and that's why you can just
He
fill in the blank.
deserves that Mai Tai if
You
he
can fill
is
in the
drinking
blank.
it.
All right, let's move on to another topic. University of Texas had some football players come out recently.
Ooh-wee.
The Eyes of Texas. They want that song removed. They want other statues and other things removed, and have the university down in Austin more inclusive, a more conducive environment, if you will. You guys' thoughts here on the University of Texas making a stand? They said, "Look, we'll play, we'll practice, we'll do all of this other stuff, but you're not getting anything else out of us if you guys don't make us feel welcome." I love it. What say you guys? We'll start with you, OG.
I mean, what they're asking for is like the renaming of buildings and different things of that
Yep.
nature. And what it stems from is that the people that the buildings are named after are tied to KKK Dragon Masters and holding black students back from excelling years ago in Texas. So I mean, everything is good sometimes as long as people remain ignorant. And once people wake up and actually know the history behind a lot of different things, it's like, why should we have to accept what we know? I mean, I often, some people think ignorance is bliss, but it's not. And I think they took their time to research and actually know
Yeah.
that some of the buildings that they're walking into on an everyday basis was, years ago was not meant for them.
Sure.
And I think like I said, I think it's great. I mean, a lot of people are getting exposed right now. A lot of institutions are getting exposed. I mean, and it's something before, like I said, a lot of times people of color they couldn't even sit down at the table and have these discussions and bring up things that they didn't like and didn't want. And now I feel like we do. And we need to take full advantage of it. I mean, because you every time when I go on social media, especially Facebook, I mean, if you like, I seen on Twitter the other day, it said if you really want to lose some friends or get into some testy debates, Facebook is where it's at. And when I see a lot of different posts about the Black Lives Matter movement or situations like this, you'll see a certain group that don't like it, and then you'll see the other group, a large group that has an understanding. I mean, and that's where we at right now. I mean, division doesn't always have to be bad. I mean, but at some point we have to, to come
Sometimes
together.
you get addition by subtraction, though.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we just have to be able to talk about it because
Yep.
a lot of people who comment, they'll never have to experience anything that the Black Lives Matter stands for. So it's like, how can you be over opinionated about it? And I think I like what they're doing, and shout out to those athletes that's taking a stand and what they want and what they rightfully deserve. Because, like I said, these athletes are largely responsible for funding these universities and getting the amount of money that they do receive. So, use your voice and speak up and create some change.
Renee, you also see Dabo Sweeney down there at Clemson. You saw Confederate flags. You saw Trevor
Oh,
Lawrence leading a Black Lives Matter protest and movement. Spoke yesterday as well. You're seeing it
love to
down
see it.
there. Thank you. Go ahead. Absolutely.
Yeah, you love to see it. So the Texas vice president, I like reading quotes because I like people to be informed.
Thank
The
you, baby.
Texas vice president and athletics director recently came out encouraging, excuse me, the student athletes. We are encouraging our student athletes, coaches, and staff to speak up and become part of the direct and difficult conversation that may take place in the days ahead. Their voices need to be heard, and they are leaders who can help move us forward. So we hear you, Vice President, Athletic Director. They said rename Robert Lee Moore Hall, Painter Hall, Littlefield Hall, and James Hogg Auditorium. So I say that because people love to give a blanketed statement. Yes, speak out. We encourage it. They literally told you what they want. So now they gave you a blueprint.
Right.
Rename these places, replace these statues, make people of color be the artists and sculptors. They gave you a list, a laundry list of things to correct. Go do it. Like those statements now, that's not going to work. Like these kids got smart, and that's why this new generation, I think they're called Z, we need y'all. Give a list of demands. This is exactly what we were talking about the NBA and the WNBA, what we want. Like we need to figure out what we want. The kids then went and did it.
Mm.
Beautiful. Definitely a beautiful thing. You look at the University of Texas, probably the biggest institution other than the Dallas Cowboys in Texas, and to have those kids speak up the way they are right now. I mean, this I keep saying it. This movement, if you're not on board, you're going to get run over. This is the perfect time. Whatever it is that you couldn't get 5 years, 4 years ago, you can get it right now. All these corporations are giving out money. If you're saying that you're offended by X, Y, and Z, you can make change. You can get it changed right now. We have to seize this opportunity. And I wouldn't be surprised if those buildings get renamed. I wouldn't be surprised if other institutions across the South,
They
if people
better.
stand up, anything with Robert E. Lee, the general of the Confederate Army. I mean, you're going to see a lot of those statues, a lot of those names be X'd out going forward.
The funny thing about it, I was just thinking is, with the pandemic and everything like that, and then in the waking of a lot of events that's going on, it made me think about Trump's statement, but in a different way. It's like, what do a lot of people have to lose? A lot of people are without work. Um, their lives have been completely changed. They're starting to be more open to
Sure.
what's going on and what's happened
Yeah,
in
that's
the
a great
past,
point.
current, and future. So, what is it to get uh, a group of people and decide, hey, we don't want these statues here anymore, and we're knocking them down?
I'll tell
I
you
mean,
what, if you want those recruits, you better do something.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because Dabo's going to
they
learn.
gave
Look,
you a
as quick as you got on
list.
top, buddy, you can be right back down
hey,
to where Clemson used to be 10
Dabo
years
got
ago.
he got under some heat.
Yeah.
For
Football
wearing that
matters.
"Football Matters"
Football
T-shirt.
matters.
And I
Oh
think,
yeah, I mean,
and me personally, like from what Dabo has shown and everything like that, I mean, he's a good, upstanding man. I mean, I think he made a bad choice in judgment of wearing a shirt during this time. Which, but
Yeah.
see,
yeah,
but see, this is the
that's
thing.
not an accident.
It was an old
Th-
shirt though.
But
It,
this what I was
It
gonna say,
is an old
Renee.
shirt, but you're right. It
But
is tone deaf.
somebody
That's the
made
point.
it.
But no,
But
It is
what
that's
I
tone
that's
deaf.
the point.
I
You
know,
It
had
is.
it.
It
but
is.
I think it
but
was
hold on. But this is what I want to say about
No,
that.
I mean, but in that culture, football does matter, and I get what he's trying to say. But in this
I,
time,
Nah,
it was
I
tone
think
deaf.
it was a football campus where he got the shirt
I'm
from.
gonna
Yeah,
argue
I
Everyone got
different
into
know,
it.
My
I
direction
point
though.
know,
is,
Yeah,
but
he
it's
my
just
shouldn't have
tone
worn
point
it.
deaf
is
at this
no. The point
time.
is the
Yeah,
whole saying of blank lives matter
anything
comes
matters right now.
the
Exactly.
Black Lives Matter movement. So even if they were like, "Oh, I love that saying. Let's put it on shirts for a camp and make football lives matter." That's the point.
But
If he
You
had it
didn't
on
get
in
it then.
January, there's no problem, or
but
February,
the
there's no
po-
problem. Right
But
now,
that's
it's a
not
problem.
the point. The
nah.
outcry is the
Exactly.
point is people are trying to make you understand that Black Lives Matter doesn't mean football lives don't matter. Or football does. That's the whole point of the movement. Like so, even making the shirt, people didn't get the movement. That's how Drew Brees has a misstep. That's how Drew Brees says the wrong
Sure.
thing because
Well,
Absolutely.
when they go the other direction, they don't understand what the whole point of the Black Lives Matter movement was in the beginning. So he doesn't even understand why it's tone deaf to wear it now. It's an old shirt.
no, that's
Right
It's
what
now.
that's
tone
what I
deaf.
that
Right.
that's the direction I was going with it, Renee. Is that when it really doesn't apply to you, you
You don't get
you
it.
you you don't get it, and you do stuff like that. I mean, you can apply that to a lot of different scenarios, but in this case, Black Lives Matter doesn't account for him And,
Yeah, because he didn't think about it when he put it on, like, "Oh, I shouldn't wear this shirt," because he doesn't get it. Like that's my whole point. Like
That's
I
part of the
understand he knew
problem.
it was an old shirt. Like I
right,
get
right,
that.
Larry.
It's a shirt from January. You
That's the
still
problem.
like I would hide that shirt. I
it
would
was
throw
a
it
misstep.
away if I was him.
Yeah,
It was
that's
a misstep, but that's what I
yeah.
mean. That's an educational
But that
process.
goes.
I want to
But
say
that
one more
also goes to
thing.
your judgment too, which can be a problem.
And
Yeah,
that's how Drew Brees says something that he says, because
but we
those
make
shirts
mistakes.
make you forget the point.
We all do.
It's
And
not,
you know what?
it is
When
a
you and I make
mistake.
mistakes, what do we have to do, Derwin? We have
Own
to
up
own
to
them.
it.
We have to
Yeah,
own them.
yeah.
Okay, that's it.
And Breeze owned up to his
He did.
mistake.
He did. He did.
He did. And I told you, I don't think he's racist. I think that things like, oh, I had the shirt since January. Okay, buddy, get on this train. All right, the shirt was wrong in January, but let's bring it to your attention now, because certain things you don't make jokes out of them, because it's not a joking matter.
Yeah, good point. All right, let's move on to the next to last topic real quick. Let's spend about 5 minutes on these and let's get out of here, guys. Jerry Jeudy, let's show the workout video. Just your thoughts, guys. How impressed were you? Jerry Jeudy, man, just the footwork and the skill. Alabama wide receiver, top 10 pick, man. Sweet, man. That was a thing of beauty there. And it was great to hear the coaches in the background. You can hear them like, run, go. I mean, it's just, it was a thing of beauty, man. Like, woo, boy, that's a professional.
Yeah, I watched that video, and I was like, how does his knees hold up to that? Because he was just making cuts on a dime. Tremendous. I've never really seen a guy 6'1" with that kind of quickness move like that.
Yeah. Your thoughts, OG?
I mean,
cone drills, man, taking it to another level, making us all look bad out there.
Yeah, I mean, it was phenomenal, and I mean, Ocho Cinco, he tuned into it, and I mean, he was impressed, and thinking about him and KJ Hamlin, and I mean, he's thinking about other receivers and different things like that, but he definitely thinks Jeudy is going to be one of the top receivers. So, I mean, it's impressive. I mean, of course, it's just drills, but at the same time, I mean, I wouldn't want to be a defensive back thinking about having to cover all that.
Yeah, just the quicks, Renee. I mean, like I said, I played in college.
No, I was just gonna say, what is it? Drew Lock got to be the happiest person in the room. Like all I think is, like, if I'm thinking I'm the athlete, I'm thinking the quarterback got to be like, yes. So that's all I was thinking. Like, I know his quarterback happy.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man. I'm looking at it now, like, wow. It was a thing of beauty. So I just want to give Jerry Jeudy a shout out down there at Alabama, now in the National Football League. A very good footwork. Very awesome.
Great name too, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
I like Jerry Jeudy. Like, it's a catchy name.
It is. And here the Alabama announcer, I forget his name, Moore maybe. I can't remember his name, but anyway, the calls that he has, touchdown, Alabama, and there's Jerry Jeudy. I mean, it's just he's got a little country twang to it. Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah, what Ocho said is, he said, I'm not Mel Kiper, but I know my shh. He said, have you seen KJ Hamlin manipulate the grass beneath his feet?
Yeah. And Ocho was a route runner. I mean, he was a savant, man. It sucks that it didn't work out the year that he was in New England. He went to the Super Bowl and lost to the Giants again. I was there that year. But holy cow, man. I mean, you're talking about some sweet feet. I was going to call him Ocho Johnson. Ocho Cinco. Chad Johnson. Let's go back to the real name, the government name. Chad Johnson had some great feet there. Last thing, NASCAR. Bye, Ray. We saw your boy old Ray Cicerelli.
Hey, do y'all know I'm NASCAR? Like Team NASCAR? Does anybody see?
Your timeline was flooded with NASCAR fans teaching you the game and the sport.
What just happened? I'm about to go watch some NASCAR after this. These are the most welcoming fans. I said, do y'all have a union? Somebody gave me like a welcome package and gave me like the highlights of last year. Good people that I should follow to maybe be a fan of. I was like, what is this new world that I'm about to dive in? So, Derwin, I'm joining you. I am about to be Team NASCAR. Sorry that I'm late to the party, but we in here, okay? That's all I have to say about that. Bye, Ray. Bye, Ray.
But NASCAR said we something to the effect we actually didn't know that you were basically in NASCAR when they tweeted at him.
The exact tweet was, we actually had to Google who you were. I'm sure your dozens of fans are real sad about your crusade to defend participation trophies.
Hey, I got a banger.
And this is in reference to the Confederate flag. Of course, Ray Cicerelli saying this will be his last season racing.
I'd
in NASCAR.
like to announce I'm retiring from NASCAR.
Confederate flag anymore. Yes, absolutely. Jordan,
Uh,
OG, go.
what a NASCAR, it said it's official. He's insulted more races than he's won. And that was
Yeah,
Jason
they're here for
Isbell.
it.
All right.
Yeah.
Jordan, any last thoughts?
Well, they're racing today. Well, I think the trucks are. They might. I think Xfinity is racing now, and then the Cup Series starts at 3:30. And Alvin Kamara, football player, Saint
Yes.
Truck, he will be at the race.
Yes. Your boy Bubba
Yes.
hooked them up with some gear, I saw, right?
Yeah.
Bubba Wallace Jr. Yeah, absolutely. So that's
Come
pretty
on,
cool.
Bubba.
Bubba. All right. Real quickly. Good Trouble, the movie, comes out less than 3 weeks, July the 3rd. In theaters, also streaming and on demand. We'll be doing the stream, the HBCU takeover, the celebrity stream a-thon, the HBCU takeover, 3 weeks from today, I believe, right? If my math is correct, July the 5th. I believe it's 3 weeks from today. So we'll see
Around
you here
there.
at competeforever.com, twitch.tv/competeforever, and also Mixer, Facebook, and YouTube. It'll be on our channel. We're working with the movie producers on that. It'll be July the 5th, right here on twitch.tv/competeforever and all the other platforms as well for Compete Forever. 6 to 10 p.m. Eastern time. Renee Montgomery, you looking forward to that? We got some of the production and the graphics done and stuff, man. We're pretty close to rock and roll and should have a rundown this week that we'll start looking at, and we'll see how we can, get this thing crack-a-lacking.
Can't wait. No, I know it's gonna be lit. I told you I'm here for all of it. So I'm gonna get into some good trouble. It's happening. I'm currently in good
And what is
trouble.
good trouble? What is good trouble? Tell the good folks what we want when we say get
I
into
will
good trouble.
say my interpretation, because he said it in many speeches. I told you I'm only halfway through the movie, so they might have the definition at the end. But my definition of good trouble is it might ruffle some feathers, but it's for the greater good and it will advance us. So he meant it by people might have to go to jail when it was the protesters. There were different times, but basically you might have to stand up against something which would cause trouble, but it's a good thing.
Right. Okay. Fighting in a very good way. Absolutely. OG, Durbin, your thoughts on this? Good Trouble, the movie coming out July 3rd. We'll make sure we get some, guys, this advanced screen. We'll work on that. Get it.
I'm trying to see it.
Get it.
No, I can't wait. I can't wait to see it. I mean, that's pretty much been all on my TV as of late. I mean, there's things that make me more knowledgeable about what's going on. Just trying to become smarter and wiser than I was yesterday. I mean, I know, I hate a lot of times people get criticized for the lack of knowledge they may have had, but people need to take that energy and use that to educate so people don't have to feel like that. A lot of times our people get ostracized, but nobody comes and picks them up and say, hey, this is what you need to do. This is what you should learn. And this is how you execute it. So we can be, we can provide that the generational wealth and build our communities and uplift a lot of people who need it, because throughout the past and everything that's happened, we've been damaged and for generations and years, and it's only going to take acts like that to repair that, and we need it.
Yeah. Good stuff. Guys, lastly, Compete Forever on Black News Channel. We were on this weekend, episode 2, this weekend, airing this weekend live on the Black News Channel. The Compete Forever Madden NFL 20 Super Showdown event that took place on Super Bowl Sunday at 368 NYC Gaming Center in Manhattan on Broadway. Aired Saturday at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. Eastern. Aired today at 11 a.m. You can catch the last airing this weekend tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern time. That's 3 p.m. on the Pacific time zone on the West Coast. 5 p.m. in Nashville, Tennessee. 4 p.m. Mountain time. I guess that would be Denver, Colorado. Those good folks out there in the mountains. So Compete Forever, Super Showdown going down. Brandon Bell was the former NFL linebacker, was on the call, and Ashley Laudis was on the mic as the sideline reporter. So next week will be episode 3. It'll be our Electric City classic, right? Yeah, Schenectady Rivers Casino with me and Bart, right? And I believe Yeni. Yeah, we're gonna get a Yeni sighting next weekend. Jennifer Figueroa. So that's episode 3. The next 3 episodes we'll get into that, and then we got 3 more that we gotta sort of edit in the next week or two. Coach K, bless his heart, he's back there already convulsing, like shaking. He gets all the work, man. I'm sorry, Coach. But your name's out there, man. People know what Compete Forever is now.
Facts.
Because of you. Any last thoughts?
Wait, I thought you said you was gonna Yes, I have a last thought. Coach
Yes.
K, I think you should turn
Oh,
the
I
camera on.
know. Before we get last thought,
Nah,
Snook and Diddy, what is up?
you know, I wasn't gonna
Snook and
miss that.
Diddy.
Snook and
Forgot
Diddy.
about
What
Snook.
up, Snook and Diddy? I just got off the phone with them right before I sat down here. So we talked about the Kaepernick situation. Shouts to Diddy for perspective. You know, but one last thing. I thought you said Kevin was going to have to show the fresh cut for the people.
Well,
are people ever going to know what?
All right.
You know what it is? It's the 4-box.
We
video.
gotta get
We'll
the
have to scroll
5
up.
blocks.
The
You got
5 blocks. Okay.
Oh
Okay.
my goodness!
Like a little kid in play.
I walk through.
What number am I in the chart?
That's a 0, dog. No, it might be a 1 or a 2. I don't know. Maybe it might be 18, 16. I don't know.
All right.
What y'all talking about?
I feel like when you go back to school on the weekend, you get a haircut. You got a haircut?
Yeah. Got a fresh
Who's the
fit.
new kid?
Got a fresh outfit, some fresh shoes, first day of school. I see you, dog.
Or like when you get glasses. You got glasses now?
Look at Coach K.
I know,
Yes, Coach K.
Make sure we go back to the 4-box. 4-box. We got to close out the show. Any last thoughts from you, fine people? A great job this weekend. Very spirited debate. For some reason, Durham, you get me going with this Colin Kaepernick thing, but I do agree
We're here
with you
for it.
on the final analysis, which is, does he want to play? He's got to show that he wants to play. I do agree. That's it. So we'll see. Any final thoughts?
On the OG 2 Cents podcast with Nene to be released in a few hours.
Okay.
It'll be on Anchor, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and the YouTube version will be coming out later tonight. And shout out to Mama Snook and Diddy. They'll be showcased in it as well as Serena Jr. And shirts is on the way. And no, that's pretty much
First
it.
class production. Everybody's running around here. I'm just happy to be here.
Did he say Serena
check out that
and Junior
episode?
Too? Yeah,
the whole fam. Check out that OG 2 Cents.
We will.
Here for it.
We will. Derwin, any final thoughts?
Just keep this momentum going. Just keep the protests going. Just keep it positive.
Absolutely.
It's not about Cap getting a job. It's bigger than that. Just keep this train going, get everybody on board, and make some change now, all the way up until the time to vote.
Register to vote. I love what LeBron is doing. We're all seeing it. He did tweet last week about why basically we can register to vote, but if it's systemic problems with voting, that's an issue too. If people don't have access to voting, and you're holding us back from voting, then that's an issue too as well. So applaud LeBron James for what he's doing, partnering with a lot of fine and positive people to make that happen. All right, guys, it's been a great show. I want to thank each and every last one of you guys. Kevin Mamuzat, of course, founder of Compete Forever, back there pushing all the right buttons. My good buddy Durham Worrell, fellow sportscaster, smart as a whip, knows his stuff. Love to go back and forth with him. The OG King Curry, Ivan Curtis, NBA 2K League's Brooklyn Nets gaming crew, GM and head coach. Got the tip-off coming this weekend. Good luck to you guys starting on Tuesday. And then, of course, she is the little sis. Baby girl, she is here. Daughter of Snook and Diddy. She's a gift to the world.
Up?
We got to throw them up 2 times in the house. Yes.
Yes, Kevin.
I'll be putting the episode in the chat, y'all.
All right, good stuff. Guys, thanks for watching. It's another edition of Esports Extra. We'll see you live Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. So long, and good afternoon from the Tri-State area and down there in the A. We'll see you Wednesday night. Bye-bye.